Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael and Lee. Join us with topics that wake up the connection to your soul. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Welcome, everybody. We're recording another episode of Lighten Up Talk Radio. It's Sunday, June 3rd, and we are recording from Dandridge, Tennessee. We're so happy to have you here. Good morning, Lee.
And good morning, Michael.
And good morning to all of you wonderful people and spirits out there. Today, we are going to start with a card from the Archangel deck, and we're going to get into living a life of freedom and what that's like. How do you bring freedom into every area of your life? So as Lee is shuffling the deck, see what the angels bring to us today for a message for all of us.
The message is breathe. And it's from Archangel Raphael. It just says, take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and to release old patterns. What a wonderful thing. Thank you so much, Archangel Michael and Raphael.
We know Michael's here with us too.
Michael is here with us today.
What a wonderful card to even kick off the topic of freedom and releasing the old patterns. We've been talking a lot about that, I think, through our episodes so far, and I know that I have been working in my life to just let go of those old patterns that have been coming into my awareness as of late. And so today, just really going deep into this idea of being free, because in truth, we are free, and it's that we just have to surrender to that freedom that we are. All of these experiences in life are just opportunities for us to see that we are free and that we have a choice in every moment to choose freedom over fear, over lack, over whatever it is. We have a choice in every single moment. You have a choice in every single moment of your life to choose which road you're going to take. Are you going to choose the free route, freedom route, or are you going to choose the being in the prison route? It's so fascinating, when we look at things through the human eyes. You look at people in a physical prison and you go, oh, they're imprisoned. But to be perfectly honest with it, most of us are in prison. We're in the prison of our own minds, and we are the only ones that can stick that key in there and open up that door. No one else can do it for us. They can give us support and guidance and reassurance to stick that key in, but you have to be the one, just as I have to be the one to do it for myself, to let me step out of the prison and soar into life, soar into every experience. And it's been an amazing week for me. How about you, Lee?
It's been an amazing week for me as well, and we've been together for quite a bit this week.
The last couple of days. Yesterday, we were actually in North Carolina, in Black Mountain, which is an amazing energy up at the Light Center. It's one of the, probably for me, I don't know about you, Lee, but I've been to Sedona a couple times, and there's a vortex there that is so powerful for me, it almost knocks my socks off. This one is comparable, and in this part of the country, it's the strongest energy that I've personally been in.
I agree with that as well. And also, I might say that yesterday when we went up to the Light Center, which I would recommend for anybody in this area that ever comes toward the Asheville area to please go to that. But we were also had people with us that was just going into their spiritual life and have just been opening up really for the past few months, and have felt that they were ready to open their minds and totally be free in whatever comes to them, and to react with whatever came through that God and Source would send to them. And so we really had an interesting day up there. Whereas when we first got there, which you never know what's going to happen, is that as I said, we've been up there numerous times, and we had a situation when we first went into the room that the music just wasn't quite what it needed to be, that we'd ever heard before.
I think maybe we ought to describe this room.
Yeah. This is a very round room, and it's like a dome type building.
It's a geodesic dome.
And so whenever we go into this room, it is totally different colored lights, and it's a chakra clearing, as well as a lot of like Michael the Archangel or Raphael. I definitely saw both of those two in there, plus much more yesterday working on people.
Sacred space.
But it's totally a sacred space to be in. Mm-hmm. And so yesterday was just a totally different place for us. And it just, even though we'd been there a lot of different times, I'd never been there on a day like yesterday. But it was the way it was supposed to be. Uh-huh. And so anyway, after we were there for a couple of hours and walked around and did what we did, laughed a lot, we all got in the car, and I think everybody got what they needed to out of it. Mm-hmm. And this was 3 people that had never been there before, and they experienced something that was just different than what we experienced, and all was the way that it was supposed to be. So I would definitely recommend to totally go to that type of place if you're ever in the Black Mountain area. And after we came down the mountain, there, as Michael says, there's a huge vortex. So we're just kind of in our spinning modes when we first hit it, when we're going up. And also when we're coming back down, you can kind of feel yourself kind of going back down into the energy of your body. But then we went and had to have ice cream. So it seems to be like, I'll have to say this, Michael, that you've eaten more ice cream in the past week than I've ever seen you eat in the years that I've known you. But
that's a true statement, actually. That's a true statement.
Yeah, so there's something going on with that ice cream. I don't know what it is, but there certainly is. But when we talk about the freedom, I think that one thing I would like to say about that is that you always have freedom. And the control of how much that you put within yourself is around you. I don't even like the word control, period. But that seems to be where a lot of people go, is to think that they can't just go by the flow that they are led to go by. You will always know that that it's been put in your life exactly how you to live your life and to find your purpose out of life. And also that you will always be led by God and angels and all of that to do that. It's the ordeal of opening up your mind and just listening to what the messages are. And when that starts happening, that's total freedom. I came, the one good thing about Michael and myself on the show is that we're quite different in a number of ways, and we're totally alike in other ways. I come from a background of having children, so I can kind of relate from that area, and some life experiences that I've had with that situation, and all 4 children being so totally different, and some of them going into their own line of thinking, and some of them not. And it's just a beautiful thing when you can see children waking up. And I actually saw that yesterday with my my third in line son, and it was just an awakening thing, and it's such a beautiful thing to see that. Total calmness, totally not having time or space or work or money or anything that we feel like in this world that we have to have, of just releasing that and totally going with all that we need in this lifetime is to have a free mind and to do as we're led to do to lead our purpose. I've said this before in another segment, that purpose, I have that question asked a lot, what is my purpose? I really believe that has to come within you. It's always put in there. You come in with it from the divine, but you need to go in there and find it. And whenever you can find that spot that you're totally non-stressed, you totally can laugh about anything, makes no difference if you make mistakes or whatever. That's when I laugh the most, is when I know that I've just made a terrible mistake, and I'll say, well, you know what, I must have went through a blank mind at that time, but I'm back now, and when you can actually catch yourself doing that is the importance of that.
Yeah.
Because so many times you don't even realize it. And when you're in the presence of other people that absolutely cannot get out of their own way without having trauma in their life at all times, you really need to sit down and look at what your life looks like. We hear so many things on the news now as far as not too many good feeling type things, but always trying to slam other people as far as negative type thoughts. And I just really think that is not the way that we were put on this earth to be. And I was just saying to Michael this morning, I happened to get a little glimpse of a TV show this morning, and it was talking about the cure of cancer in the kidney area and in the breast cancer area, both of those two, and they think that they have found a cure for this type situation. And it was just a big deal, and it lasted about a minute. And then the very next moment, you're listening to a whole 2 to 3 minutes about the leader of this nation spelling a word incorrectly. Now, there's something wrong with that picture. And when we can go into our own and we stop listening to that type of thing, and we start really saying, what's happening today is because it's supposed to. You've lost your job because you're supposed to have lost it. You're not into this thing because you're supposed not to be in this thing. It's all around what it's supposed to be. And there is a higher reason to why that all of this negativity is on the news now about how we're living and how people are starving and how this and that and the other. It's because we can start relying on each other and find love. It's all around the love and being able to connect to other human beings. And these are all lessons that's being taught right now. And all we need to do is not think about any of the negatives of anything that you think is going on in your life. If it's around children, if it's about anything, family, work, whatever, but to get into the center of yourself and find the love in every single moment of your day. And there's absolutely no excuses in your life of why you're not going forward, living your life. You can have the desire to want to do a lot of things in your life, but you can put so many blocks in your head that you absolutely cannot even find it. You can't even find the trail to get there. And that is when you go and you say, this is what I'm going to do. You stay true to yourself. It's not just talking. It's not just that. You're true to yourself. You stick with it. And you actually have the wherewithal within yourself to believe that this is the right thing. This is my purpose. And I absolutely will not go backwards anymore. I will only go forwards, and quit trying to find excuses of every time that something doesn't work out. It's always somebody else's fault instead of yourself. Don't even go to that area, because it is you, not them.
Amen. What is the essence of freedom? It's to me, as you were just so describing, our mind is the only place that we can truly be free and choose freedom. When we're in this human body, we have to learn to reframe our mind through every experience, like you were just describing, where you just have to get out of it. Just have to do it. Stop the excuses and just take the first step. You're not going to go from A to Z. It's an A, B, C, D process. So I know that I've made excuses in my life as well, and I continue to learn to stop. When I catch myself, I stop. And if you're out there right now in one of those modes, just stop. Let yourself realize that you can make a choice right now to stop. An example that has just come into my mind is, the whole concept of financial freedom. The world, it seems, has been on this stream of you have to make so much money to be financially free. I like to put it in a different way. To me now, financial freedom, it doesn't matter how much money that you have in the bank. It is your perception and your thought about who you are and where you are right now. That trust and faith that no matter where you are, that you're going to have whatever you need in that next moment. The source, as long as you believe and trust in that, is going to make a way for those provisions to come into your life. And I bet any one of you out there right now could say that your needs on some level have always been met, and they will continue to be met. But we don't go from, for example, I know when I first left the corporate America and started a business on my own, I had this thought pattern that somehow I was going to jump from this point to that point. And somehow that because of the experiences I had, that those experiences were enough for me to kind of shuffle on up the scale and move into, getting more money or whatever, making more money as a self-employed. But what I learned is that I have to follow each of the steps. I was learning lessons that when it's time for me to get there, to that next level of people recognizing who I am, when you start in a new area, people aren't going to know necessarily who you are. Especially if you're a counselor or something out there doing some sort of, one-on-one scenario, or even putting a book out that you've just put out. You just have to put it out there and go with the flow of the process of life. There's steps to it, just as there's steps to everything. And to me, freedom, this freedom that we're talking about, and we're kind of bantering on getting to the core of this freedom, is really about letting go of whatever ties that you have to not being yourself, trying to, look outside of self for peace. I saw a picture earlier today, and it was like this vortex of swirling energy, kind of like the eye of a storm, and at the very center is the eye, and it's totally at peace. The second you step off center from that thing, you get into the swirl of all the garbage and all of the turbulence swirling around. And it's kind of like the way that life works. If you stay centered, stay in yourself, honoring that you know what's right for you, not getting pulled off by everyone's judgments of this or that, you're going to stay calm and peaceful in the center. The second, and that's freedom. That is the freedom we're speaking about, and it's about in every aspect of life. The second that you look outside of self, and believe me, we all do this. We're all learning how to do this in different areas of our life, but it's important to take a look. Second you step out of that center, and you grab on or jump into some energy out here or this or that, and you lose that center, there goes the peace, there goes the freedom, and all of that stuff. So just take some time to see where you're at with this right now. Where are you within yourself? Can you come back to center in some area of your life and just be you? Is there someone in your life that you have given your power away to, or situation or circumstance that you can now choose? Because the freedom in that is taking your power back. And it may not feel like it right at first, but the moment that you take your power back, exchange the truth to that person in whatever form that you need to, and reclaim who you are in that situation, freedom is now present. And I would highly recommend, I've been doing that a lot lately, going through the process of reclaiming myself in all situations, really putting a lot of attention toward it, because this year, this 2012 year, is really about completing things and stepping fully into this energy of being yourself and freedom. It's amazing.
It is amazing. So many people have a facade. I call it a facade outwardly. Mm-hmm. They think they need to look like this. They feel like they need to act like this. They feel like they need to have financial security, just like their friends that they've maybe been in school with, or family members or whatever. Mm-hmm. The only thing you really need is you and your spiritual self, and getting down to the heart core of who you are. Whenever excuses, and I call it excuses, I say excuses be gone.
There's a book of
there's excuses be
Wayne
gone.
Dyer, maybe? Is it Wayne
excuses
Dyer?
Be gone. And I read that book and it was wonderful. But excuses be gone. What a wonderful thing that is. Because when you start putting excuses out for every phase of your life, well, it was my mother, it was my father, it was my siblings, it was this, it was that. I was raised in the not the better part of the city, or that is nothing but excuses. Everyone has the ability to just be you. You were actually created to be a single individual that absolutely could operate on their own in a very happy manner and always have all that they need in life, not all that you want. There's a great difference in the need and the want word. And you will always have what you need when you are centered. And I believe that there's a lot of people out there that you will know when you go off course, when your heart hurts. It's all in your heart. Whenever it starts bringing you second notions about, did I do this right? Did I do this wrong? Did I do this? Well, that is nothing but a monkey brain. And you're just monkeying from one side to the other. It's like the cage that you're in. And it's total chaos. Mm-hmm. And there is so many people out there in these days that it's multiplied in chaos instead of freedom. And so many people that I listen to, it's always around someone but them. And that is just not what my belief system is. It's always going to be around you. You cannot take up the slack for somebody else. You can't go into how the other person's feeling. If it doesn't correspond with how you think they need to feel, well, that's just you going into their space and you need to stay out of it. Just like you would not want them going into your space because they could say, stay out of mine as well. When you get to that point, particular if it's in a friend situation, a circle of friends, or a circle of family, if it's multiple, I would venture to say that I would just, whenever the next situation comes up, there's all of you in the same place at the same time, just bring up the topic of that and let everybody express their feelings in the room. And not hold back on what they have to say. And just say, I'm going to bless you where you're at today. I'm going to love you where you're at today. But you have your own journey. If there's 10 people in that room, all 10 of you have different journeys. So you can't take on other people's journeys and they can't take on yours. So you encourage them to go on to their journey. But you cannot lead them to go on to their journey. They have to do it themselves. Mm-hmm. And, it's gotten to the point that the world, parts of it has gotten pretty lazy. And they're at the point that they want everybody to do everything for them. And if it's not easy, they don't want to do it. That's always the individuals that takes longer to get there. That's always the individuals that's pretty miserable with themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's also the very egotistical, I guess you could put it as far as personality, as far as thinking, well, they're always wrong and I'm always right. Woe is them. And when you can center yourself and get totally centered and focused in who you are, everything works out exactly the way that divine order puts you here to work. Because you absolutely yourself wrote the chart. Most people wrote their chart, and it's just following it and being in tune with whenever you just get off a little bit, you can catch yourself immediately and put yourself back on track again to where it does not resonate in your body and stay.
I'm so with you. I was just thinking for all y'all out there, if you're in a place right now where you're, as Lee described, where you are feeling burdened or overwhelmed or literally in the chaos as we speak with something in your life, now's the time to reach out for help if you need it. If you're having trouble finding your center with it, let's put that intention as we speak right now to ask your angels to guide you to the person, place, group, or wherever it is to help you see and reclaim who you are right now. Could be a friend, could be a group, whatever it is meant for you. I would like to honor that intention, that be manifest in your life now. Because this oftentimes is one of the biggest steps toward freedom and stepping into your divine freedom. It can be so easy, as Lee you were talking about with the family situations and friends. I have found, and I'm really starting to, these are getting anchored into my being here, how whenever I have someone in my life where I feel pulled, even the slightest bit of pulling, then it's usually time for that person for me to let them go or have a conversation about the way that it feels to me, just to where I can fully express myself, be myself, have the conversation, and get to the place of whether it's right for us to be at this juncture on our journey together or not. Has been a huge focus for me the last couple of years, and it's gotten this last month. It feels like a huge cycling out of the few that we're just not on the same page, and there's no judgment either way about it. It's just honoring, as again you said earlier, Lee, the heart. It's listening to that heart and feeling it. When you feel a pull or a push or something that is not in alignment with your true self, just let it go. It's just as simple as letting it go. There's a part of our egos sometimes that likes to try to latch on, that feels like we have been interfered with or feelings hurt, or because they're pushing on us that we have to push back, or vice versa, they're pulling on us, so then we pull back unconsciously by being in the cycle of control with some person or group or experience. And as long as you stay in that cycle of control or resistance, you are staying out of freedom and out of peace in some area of your life. And to reclaim that freedom, you've got to let go. You've got to let it go. Let go of the strings. So let's take a moment with that and also set an intention right now. I'd like to ask Archangel Michael, who's one of the most amazing energies to help with this process, to release any attachments to any person, place, thing that is not serving you in your life right now. And let's take a nice deep breath on this as well. So I'd like for you to just relax and take a nice deep breath. And just let it go. Any of the feelings or emotions that try to come back and say, but I have to do this or that, let's let those go too. Let's take another breath with those. And with this, you can choose freedom at every moment. It is your choice. The angels are always here to help you. Your guides are always here to help you. The divine, in whatever form you like to envision it, is always there to assist you in letting these ties, attachments, cords, whatever you want to call them, go. But it's up to you to not step back into it. It is your choice. And so that is.
So that is. I've had a situation in the past couple months that came into my life, and it was, people that have children absolutely sometimes kind of gets in the middle of a situation. And, you really don't want to be there. And I've had, several conversations from other parents that say, well, what do you do in this situation? You're so different. What side do I take? You take neither. It's neither side. They need to work it out within themselves. They came into this life as a family unit with you, and they need to work that out. And just because they don't have the same goals in life at this time, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that they need to be able to get in a conversational mode. Now, as a parent, if they choose not to do that, you've done all that you can do. You still step back and you let that go on. And of course, these are older children I'm talking about, not younger children. But you always have to release that energy as a parent, because your children have to be on their own to live their own lives. And there's so many people that I've looked at that has the same patterns. And it's a pattern of ancestry. Mm-hmm. You can go back in time for 10 times fold back with your family. And you see some threads of the same thing that keeps going through there. So if it's not in a positive manner of what you see, you need to just center yourself and you let the cords be cut and go. There's only so much that you can do, and you need to focus on you. Because if every person in the universe focuses on themselves, then this world totally changes. You cannot take on anybody else's energy. You can't take on anybody else's momentum to make more money or to work hard and don't even see their family half the time because they have all these excuses of why they have to do all this work. You can't take on the energy of somebody that doesn't want to work. And they just let other people work for them. And when they start running out of money at the end of the month, they're calling their sisters or their brothers or their mothers and fathers asking for additional money for them to live on. You have to cut the cord with that, because you're not doing yourself justice, nor them. Neither. There's lessons to be learned. And the one most important thing is you can't take on the lessons of anybody but yourself. No matter who they are, you cannot do it. You can't take it on with your mother and your fathers. You can't take it on with your brothers and sisters. You can't take it on with your friends. All of these people, all the people that you will meet in your whole lifetime, you have to bless them, love them, and let it go into their field of what they need to do for themselves. You have to release that for your own good as well as theirs. And sometimes that can be a very difficult thing when you're not centered within your own heart. But you need to work on that every day. And that can be released. And it can go real fast. It's all in the change of your mindset.
Oh, yeah.
You're not responsible for anyone except the spirituality within yourself and your purpose within yourself. Because every single person that has come down to our world is responsible for their own, not anybody else's.
And I was just thinking that there's a difference for those of you out there that may have a little trouble with thinking about the self thing. There's a big difference between being self-centered and centered within yourself. And we're talking about in the standpoint of being centered in yourself, because when you're centered in yourself, that's when you can truly serve.
That's correct.
And the serving goes out in a way that really, really blesses people, because you're not holding on. You're not doing it to lift you up or raise you up. You're doing it just to help, just because that's who you are and you're giving, or whatever it is. Whatever gift that you have that's flowing through you, you're giving it without holding on to it.
I might say that some people, even in that situation, might think that you're being harsh. It kind of goes to that at times.
Yes.
And I think that the illusion of that is quite interesting, because when you start not taking it on, if you have been taking it on for quite a while, then all of a sudden that individual will say, well, what in the world has happened to that person? Well, they've helped me before. Why can't they keep helping me now? It goes back, and you might have to go through some waves of energy with that, of some negativity on the other person's, plate, because you have been going in there doing all of that all the time. So it might take a little while. That is not anything you need to get yourself wound up in, though, as far as the energy flowing not well through you, because that is them to work it out. Again, you cannot work it out for them. And sometimes there might be a little turbulence there. Let's put the word, let's get turbulence there. But that's okay. That's okay, because what will happen is it'll come right back around and it'll be as smooth as glass, because that's the way that God works.
Mm-hmm. And that's an awesome, Lee, because this last week I've had 2 experiences that have helped me understand within myself the cycle of what you just described, where I would speak something of truth, and that was me, that I was just letting it flow through me. And I said something that in these cases, the other parties took it personal, in both cases. And the immediate reaction for me has been, in the history of my life, oh no, I hurt their feelings. And in that moment of making that was a conscious choice that I made, because that is what I learned growing up. But I'm learning to make a new choice, that the moment that I feel a hurt, that I release it and don't latch on to that I can stay centered in self, knowing that I was given those words to speak to that person for whatever reason. Maybe it'll help them break out of their cycle, but maybe it won't. Maybe I don't even have to think about it. Why? I just have to just let it flow through me, and when that happens, to just stay anchored in the divine me, because it's been an easy pattern for me in the past. The second I feel, because I'm a real feeler type of person, an empathic person, and when I would literally pull that energy on and feel it in my whole body, and sometimes a little simple exchange like that would literally take me down and out for a day. Just in my mind running back and forth, oh, how could I handle that better, blah, 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 when all I need to do is let it go in that moment. And so I've been working with myself to be aware of the second that thought comes into my head, that, oh my gosh, what if I hurt their feelings, or whatever that is, I'll stop and say, it was just perfect as it is. It was okay. And I let that go. Any of those need to try to hold on to it or attach to it, I let it go right now. And I can tell you that it has been working tremendously for me, going through the conscious process and cycle. If I didn't go through the process, which I think maybe what you were alluding to earlier, Lee, of just being at peace with whatever the part of the process, sometimes we have to go through these intense situations in order to understand how the cycle and how to take your power back in it. If you don't go through it a couple times, sometimes you're not going to really see the whole picture of it. And so that's the blessing and the grace of the life lessons, is sometimes we go through them over and over again so that we can really see all the different scenarios of what's going on and learn to reconnect with who we are in it.
That's right, because it takes sometimes a lot of different times for us to get the lessons too.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
But I always try to look at it as a mentorship. Other people doesn't sometimes look at it that way when you're trying to mentor that person, or to really give them what's in your heart that you feel like that would be, a good thing. Maybe that they might just want to look at. I mean, I try not to ever go in there and just say, do this, you need to do that, and da-da-da. A lot of people try it that way. That doesn't work. It wouldn't work it with me. And why would it work for me doing that with someone else? That's something I wouldn't even want to do. But if you can give them several suggestions of what might be heavy on their heart right now, of how to go about doing it based on the how you have changed your life doing that in the past. I think that that's wonderful. That's their choice. Whether they do it or not, that's their choice. That's their free will in this world to do that. But I will also say at that point in time, if they choose not to do that, then you have also fulfilled your purpose for saying what you said. So there's no judgment on neither side. And that's when it works out to be a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. And you just brought up the energy of what you just said brought up a topic for me on forgiveness is freedom. And this whole idea of, I think a lot of you out there that will probably be listening to us sometimes are pretty hard on yourselves. You go back, and I know that I've done this for years, I could have done it better, I should have done it better, all of those kind of things. It's time to just forgive yourself and do it right now. Let's ask Archangel Raphael to assist and set this intention right now to anchor in this energy of forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is a process, and true forgiveness means that you totally let it go. You don't harbor anything. There's no harboring of feelings, nothing. When you look at the person, they're gone. Any of that old stuff. And so it's time to acknowledge that this is a process and to get started on it right now. And so let's together, with the beautiful help of the angels, ask for the divine to help you forgive yourself, that you've done the best that you can with what you have known and where you have been in your life right now. And so it is.
And so it is.
Now it's up to you to every moment in your life to choose that state. And it will continue to grow and expand.
Kind of goes down to my, I have a very easy way to say things sometimes. You always take the high road. Mm-hmm. You don't take the low road. So many people will take the low road if they get any type of judgment from other people. Mm-hmm. And they'll always go down that low road so they don't have to uproot the apple cart. Let's talk about that. I
know about what you're talking about, Lee.
But at times that apple cart needs to be totally emptied out and started all over again with a whole new thing of apples. Because then that's when your life really soars. It soars within your family, within yourself. And, so many people are held back in their lifetime because they felt like things that was put against them, even as a small child, and it goes through their whole lives. They're sitting there at 60 and 70 years old still talking about what happened to them when they were 5. Mm-hmm. And you just say to yourself, wow, come on, forgive yourselves. Just forgive it. That's all you have to do. Forgive other people. Forgive yourselves. You've done the best you can do with what you knew at that time. Mm-hmm. You've learned more. Yay. That's good for you. You've learned more. Mm-hmm. But you still was okay where you were because you have gone down that journey to be able to complete that journey and to go forward in your life. So it is never too late. Never. Mm-hmm. I don't care what age that you are or where you're at. You can always change your life. Always. Don't ever look at yourself to where I blew it. Because you know what? You've never blown it. It's just that you've been down some journeys that maybe other people have not. And you can always rebuild yourself to be exactly who you were brought into this world to be. The greatest that you could possibly be. That opportunity is always there.
So it is.
And so it is.
All the tapestry, all of those events just make up the tapestry of your life.
It really makes no difference. It's all in when, before you leave this world, that you are happy, you have kindness in your heart, total love. And you know that you've done the best that you can do. And so it is.
So it is. Well, may you all choose freedom today. Choose freedom in this next moment in your life. And we look forward to talking with you next time.
Lots of love.
Lots of love.